Welcome to Mystic Realms Recap. Links are in the description below. Please show some love of the author and me. On to the show.
Gains from the Monster Ranch. Huge increase in military strength. Your subject Wutu's loyalty has increased to 87. Zhou Zhou, who was walking on the road, suddenly saw this notification. He winced then smiled. Half an hour later, the soldiers were done resting. Zhou Zhou gathered everyone together and called for Nazario. Then, they headed to the Monster Ranch together. Unbelievable! Is this still the same Monster Ranch I saw yesterday? I see elite desert fog lizards, so many of them. The soldiers looked at the Monster Ranch in front of them in shock. In just one night, the Monster Ranch had undergone a complete facelift. At this moment, the Monster Ranch in front of them was already crawling with desert fog lizards of all sizes. There were even some at elite tier. What surprised everyone the most was that they were no longer as fierce as before. These desert fog lizards were either crawling slowly or lazing around like domesticated livestock. Big Brother Mu is really amazing. I can't believe he made them so docile, Bai said in surprise. Zhou Zhou shared her surprise, but he was already mentally prepared, so his expression did not change. 7 sit envelb /end, C/M for L-test vels. My lord. Mugu walked out of the ranch and said respectfully, "How was the result from last night?" Zhou Zhou asked. "It's been a normal night. There are a total of 500 desert fog lizards. Among them are 256 black iron tier elementary grade desert fog lizards, 220 black iron tier intermediate grade desert fog lizards, and 24 elite black iron tier advanced grade desert fog lizards. It's a pity that the Monster Ranch hasn't reached the green bronze tier yet. Otherwise, I can create a leader tier or even lord tier desert fog lizard," Mugu said. Zhou Zhou's eyes flashed with excitement. This was not just 500 desert fog lizards. In his eyes, these were clearly 520 Sword Shield Soldier class change certificates and 244 Sword Shield Soldier recruitment books. Zhou Zhou did not care about what Mugu said after that. The ranch would level up sooner or later. Mugu, release them in batches. Bai, get the soldiers to kill them one by one, Zhou Zhou said. Yes, Mugu and Bai said in unison. My lord, this is the official opening of the Monster Ranch. It means a lot. Please have the honor of choosing the first batch of desert fog lizards to meet their death, Mugu asked. Sure, Zhou Zhou thought for a moment and nodded. He walked to the ranch fence and looked at the 500 desert fog lizards. After looking at them for a while, he chose 10 of them that were lazing around on the ground. These 10 desert mist lizards have been lying motionless on the ground for so long. I must have seen too many of the same kind kill each other. I have decided to end their suffering. Just get them out and kill them, Zhou Zhou said. Desert fog lizards. We're just king stuffed and don't want to move. My lord is right. Mugu nodded seriously and walked to the entrance of the Monster Ranch. He opened the door and used the ability of the Monster Rancher to call the 10 desert fog lizards out. Bai looked at the soldiers behind her. Who feels like they're about to break through? Stand up and kill these desert fog lizards yourself. Don't try to take advantage of the situation. I know where your strengths are. She glared at everyone. Whoosh! More than 50 people stood up. They looked at each other and charged at the 10 desert fog lizards and took care of them in less than 10 seconds. One of the soldiers looked pleased in no time. Officer Bai, I've broken through to black iron tier intermediate grade sword shield soldier. The others looked at him enviously. Go back to the group. Bai smiled and nodded. The soldier chuckled foolishly and turned back to the group. For the next hour, everyone repeated this process in eliminating the desert fog lizards in the Monster Ranch. Zhou Zhou was not idle either. He got someone to move the desert fog lizards' corpses over while he collected the loot. More than an hour later, all 500 desert fog lizards were eliminated. 16 people had broken through to the black iron tier intermediate grade, 3 had broken through to the Black Iron Tier Advanced Grade, while Zhang Tsang and another subject who had followed him the earliest had broken through to the Green Bronze Tier Elementary Grade. Other than that, Zhou Zhou also obtained loots from 500 Desert Fog Lizards, 520 Sword Shield Soldier class change certificates, and 244 Sword Shield Soldier recruitment books had been obtained. There were also 1,584 Black Iron Tier Mist cores, 16,320 units of flesh, Black Iron Tier Elementary, Intermediate, and Advanced Grade. A total of 1,156 kilograms of water bags. 24 Black Iron Tier Advanced Grade Sand Stealth Technique. Zhou Zhou asked Bai Yi to call all the Black Iron Tier Advanced Grade and Green Bronze Tier Elementary Grade soldiers over. Then, he took out 44 sand stealth techniques from his spatial ring and distributed 1 to 44 of them. It was all accumulated over this period of time. He decided to release them at this point in time. This is the Black Iron Tier Advanced Grade, Sand Stealth. Consider it a reward for your advancement. I'll treat you well when your strength advances to a higher level and you make more contributions. In addition, we will go and suppress the Scarlet Lord faction where the black-tailed fog scorpion is. You should be able to use this sand stealth technique, Zhou Zhou said. Thank you for the reward, my lord. Everyone was extremely excited. Skill books were very precious treasures to most professionals since the drop rate of monsters was too low on the High Continent. Even kingdom-level forces had very strict jurisdiction over skill books. The adjective, a skill worth 1,000 gold, was not wrong at all. They did not expect their lord to be so generous as to reward them with the skill book. At this moment, their loyalty to Zhou Zhou had increased. Zhou Zhou saw the system notification on that, but said nothing about it. After that, he brought everyone back to Blazing Sun City. Then, he went to the Gate of Summoning and threw in the 244 Sword Shield Soldier recruitment books he had just obtained. Sword Shield soldiers walked out of the Gate of Summoning like a tide. Under Bai Yi's guidance, they joined the rest of the soldiers and Zhou Zhou's troops expanded at a speed visible to the naked eye. The soldiers who saw the scene sighed with emotion. I walked out of the Gate of Summoning this morning. I didn't expect to see someone else walk out of here today. If it weren't for the Desert Fog Lizards, would I have met my lord? We're so lucky that the Desert Fog Lizards exist. His lordship's golden hand is also the key. Now that you mention it, I want to go to the monster ranch later and burn some incense for the Desert Fog Lizards. Let's go together. Even though the Desert Fog Lizards are our mortal enemy, they also provide us with food and upgrades. Why are there no female soldiers? A moment later, all 244 Sword Shield soldiers walked out of the Gate of Summoning. At this point, the number of soldiers under Zhou Zhou's command had reached 869. Let's do it again tomorrow. The number of soldiers under my command will officially break through to 1,000. Zhou Zhou's heart was burning with ambition. Following which, Zhou Zhou asked Ashburn for potions before bringing the soldiers, Dr. Zhang Qianjing, Nazario, and the Mechanostriders convoy to the territory of the black-tailed fog scorpion. Begin the attack. Black Scorpion Poison Crossbow. Half an hour later, Zhou Zhou brought his subordinates to the vicinity of the black-tailed fog scorpion's territory. A lone lord's wooden house stood in the vast desert. Other than that, there was nothing. Not even a shadow of a black-tailed fog scorpion. Zhou Zhou and the others were not surprised at all. Use the blood eye, Bai Yi said in a low voice. Yes, everyone said in unison. A total of 50 bottles of blood eye potion were passed on to all 869 soldiers. Each of them poured out a bit of the portion and smeared it on their eyelids. There were still 5 bottles of potions left after everyone applied some. Zhou Zhou also took out a bottle of blood eye potion and poured out 1/20th of it to smear evenly on his eyelids. After applying it, he quickly blinked. A magical scene happened. The scene in front of him gradually changed. Balls of blood-red chi that looked like black-tailed fog scorpions hidden under the desert gradually appeared in his vision. They surrounded the surrounding desert with the Lord's wooden house as the center. There were more than 400 of them. Zhou Zhou narrowed his eyes slightly. "Prepare to attack," he ordered after observing for a moment. "Yes, my lord," Bai said respectfully. Then, she led 4 poison crossbowmen and 1 archer forward. They drew their bows and aimed at the 6 black-tailed fog scorpions closest to them. "Shoot!" Bai shouted. The 6 of them shot their arrows in unison. Whoosh! 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 The bows were like thunderbolts. Visit N0VL/BIN for the best novel reading experience. 5 poisonous arrows and an iron arrow shot out like lightning. In the blink of an eye, they arrived at their destination and shot straight into the ground. The next second, a kill notification appeared. Your subject, by E, has killed in Black Iron Tier Intermediate Grade Black-Tailed Fog Scorpion. Promotion Energy +2. Loot Condensed. Your subject, Zhao Onmin, has killed a Black Iron Tier Elementary Grade Black-Tailed Fog Scorpion. Promotion Energy +1. Loot Condensed. Your subject, Zhang Ziqing, has killed a Black Iron Tier Elementary Grade Energy Black-Tailed Fog Scorpion. Promotion Energy +1. Loot Condensed. 6 screams sounded. Of the 6 black-tailed fog scorpions that were targeted, 3 were immediately killed, while the other 3 sustained injuries. Pooh! 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 When the black-tailed fog scorpions realized that they could not hide, they broke out of the ground one after another and charged towards the humans. However, there were also many black-tailed fog scorpions that did not rush out from the ground. Instead, they advanced at a relatively slow speed underground and launched a sneak attack on Zhou Zhou and the others. Kill! All the soldiers rushed out in full strength and roared as they rushed towards the group of black-tailed fog scorpions, accompanied by a furious roar. On the other hand, the poison crossbowmen and archers stood where they were and drew their bows, killing the black-tailed fog scorpions that were charging over from afar. Pay attention to the black-tailed fog scorpions. Soldiers who have mastered the sand stealth technique, remember to use your skills to rescue soldiers swept underground. Bai yelled. Then, she immediately boarded the mechanostrider and began to wander around the edge of the battlefield. She began to kill these black-tailed fog scorpions one by one with the long-range attack advantage of the poison crossbow soldiers and the speed advantage of the mechanostrider. At the same time, Zhou Zhou, who was at the back of the battlefield, suddenly noticed through his blood eye that there were 3 elite black-tailed fog scorpions above the Black Iron Tier advanced grade rushing towards him. Nazaria was eager for some action. It was born with a powerful perception as a dragon. It could see the black-tailed fog scorpions hiding underground clearly and could even sense how many hairs were on the surface of their bodies. Zhou Zhou knew that it wanted to attack, but he stopped it. You don't need to do anything for monsters below the green bronze tier unless they are a threat to me, Zhou Zhou said. Why use a sledgehammer to kill a chicken? With a thought, the energy in his body quickly flowed into the spatial ring on his right index finger. Faint yellow sand light gradually appeared on the surface of the ring. Then, 3 black iron spearmen wearing gorgeous yellow sand armor and holding yellow sand spears condensed in front of him. They charged at the 3 elite black-tailed fog scorpions under Zhou Zhou's silent command. Their speed was extremely fast, and they quickly arrived more than 20 meters away from the elite black-tailed fog scorpion. Then, they jumped high into the air, holding long spears in their hands. The tips of their spears were pointed downwards, and they stabbed at the ground with all their might. Pooh! 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 A dull piercing sound rang out. The long spear sank into the 2 black-tailed fog scorpions under the desert. They died on the spot. There was also an elite black-tailed fog scorpion that had no choice but to crawl out of the ground after being injured. However, as soon as it stuck its head out, it was killed by the sand spearmen. After killing the 3 elite black-tailed fog scorpion, the sand spearmen dragged their corpses back to Zhou Zhou and stood guard. Zhou Zhou looked at the corpses of the 3 elite black-tailed fog scorpions. Item name: Elite Black-Tailed Fog Scorpion. Item level: Black Iron Tier Advanced Grade. Item effect: contains unextracted loots. Item description: fog monsters killed by the soldiers of Blazing Sun City. Prompt: in 2 hours, this corpse will turn into fog and be reborn at a certain time in the future. Loots: 8 black iron tier mist cores. Drop rate: 100%. 1 unit to 100 units of black iron tier elementary grade meat. Drop rate: 20%, 0.1%. 1 black iron tier advanced grade poison sac. Drop rate: 5%. 1 black iron tier advanced grade antidote potion. Drop rate: 0.5%. 2 gradeless poison crossbow soldier class advancement certificate. Drop rate: 0.1%. 1 black iron tier advanced grade poison crossbow recruitment book. Drop rate: 0.05%. 1 black iron tier advanced grade black scorpion poison crossbow. Drop rate: 0.01%. 1 black iron tier advanced grade potion recipe antidote potion. Drop rate: 0.05%. Equipment dropped? Zhou Zhou's eyes lit up. This was the first time he had seen a monster that could drop equipment. Zhou Zhou quickly turned them into loot and searched around for this equipment. It was a black crossbow that was more than 40 centimeters long. It also came with a quiver that contained 100 black scorpion poison crossbows. Its external form was like that of a black-tailed fog scorpion. When it fired an arrow, this crossbow was like a black-tailed fog scorpion accumulating strength, preparing to stab its poisonous stinger. Equipment name: Black Scorpion Poison Crossbow. Equipment grade: Black Iron Tier Advanced Grade. Equipment effect 1. Strong Crossbow. The Black Scorpion Poison Crossbow will give the crossbow bolt double the strength, speed, range, penetration, and lethality. Equipment effect 2. Black Scorpion Poisonous Crossbow. The Black Scorpion Poisonous Crossbow is equipped with 100 Black Scorpion Poisonous Crossbows. Each poisonous crossbow has strong black-tailed fog scorpion poison attached to it. It can poison anything from green bronze tier elementary grade to death. Introduction: equipment produced by the elite black-tailed fog scorpion. With it, even ordinary people can become terrifying killers. This is top-grade equipment. Zhou Zhou looked at this ferocious and domineering weapon with burning eyes. 2 equipment effects, both were to his liking. Then, he looked at the black-tailed fog scorpions in the distance as if he was looking at treasures. Zhou Zhou only had one thought in his mind: protect them. They have to be protected. After the second monster ranch was built, these black-tailed fog scorpions would become his personal weapon factory, killing the black-tailed fog scorpion leader. Zhou Zhou's side undoubtedly had the advantage judging from the situation. Zhou Zhou had twice the forces of the black-tailed fog scorpion, and they were forcing most of the scorpions to appear above ground. The black-tailed fog scorpion's forte was in sneak attacks. When above ground, they had less combat power than the desert fog lizards. Therefore, the black-tailed fog scorpions on the ground were basically beaten up by Zhou Zhou's soldiers. The black-tailed fog scorpions which stayed underground were also at a disadvantage since the soldiers had blood eye, which allowed them to see them even when they were underground. The soldiers could, therefore, often discover and dodge any sneak attack in advance, making the success rate of the black-tailed fog scorpion's sneak attack extremely low. Their only threat was their black-tailed scorpion poison. Even though the soldiers were wearing military armor that could cover most of their bodies, there were still some places that could not be protected. Zhou Zhou had already seen many soldiers accidentally being stung by the black-tailed fog scorpions and showing signs of being poisoned. Zhou Zhou pondered for a moment before his gaze landed on his 3 sand spearmen. With a thought, the 3 sand spearmen immediately transformed into 3 sand cavalry. Then, Zhou Zhou ordered them to charge into the battlefield and bring the poisoned soldiers and the dead black-tailed fog scorpion corpses to him. The sand cavalry were extremely fast, coming and going like the wind. The poisoned soldiers and the corpses of the black-tailed fog scorpions were quickly delivered to Zhou Zhou. Then, he began to extract the loot from the monsters' corpses and used the antidotes in the loot to neutralize the poisoned soldiers. Every black-tailed fog scorpion had an antidote in their loot. Therefore, Zhou Zhou was not lacking in them at all. Moreover, the antidote worked extremely quickly. These poisoned soldiers were quickly cured of the poison and regained their combat strength. After thanking Zhou Zhou gratefully, they returned to the battlefield without hesitation. Time passed. Poisoned soldiers were brought to Zhou Zhou, who cured them. They would then return to the battlefield. This scene became a wonder on the battlefield. The soldiers no longer had anything to worry about. Their morale soared and became even more fearless when killing the enemy. At the same time, their loyalty to Zhou Zhou began to increase collectively. Zhou Zhou also devoted himself to saving people. I, Zhou Zhou, am the strongest battlefield medic. Zhang Qianjing, who was beside him, looked at this scene with hesitation. I'm the actual doctor here. Fortunately, Zhou Zhou quickly remembered him. He gave the Sand Cavalry a new job, bringing back seriously injured soldiers back and handing them to Zhang Qianjing. I know how to deal with this. Zhang Qianjing immediately perked up. Thus, the two of them began to get busy. With their efforts, the number of injured soldiers on the battlefield began to decrease at a visible speed. The number of black-tailed fog scorpions' deaths was also increasing at a visible speed. Half an hour later, more than half of the 400 black-tailed fog scorpions died. Just when the soldiers thought that victory was imminent, an accident suddenly happened. The ground suddenly shook. A huge mound appeared in the desert. Then, like a bulldozer, it rushed towards the soldiers at an extremely fast speed. The soldiers were knocked down one after another. Immediately, many people suffered injuries of varying severity. Boom! The ground cracked open. A huge black shadow jumped out from the ground and landed on the desert ground with a bang. It was a huge black-tailed fog scorpion that was 5 to 6 meters tall and more than 10 meters long. Its scarlet eyes looked at the soldiers as if they were lambs waiting to be slaughtered. Not far away, Zhou Zhou also looked at the black-tailed fog scorpion. He looked a little surprised. Logically speaking, he should be able to discover such a huge black-tailed fog scorpion through the blood eye. However, he had never seen the figure of this huge black-tailed fog scorpion in the vision of the blood eye. What is going on? He looked at it. A text message appeared. Monster name: Black-tailed fog scorpion leader, Black Spike, Scarlet Lord. Strength level: Green Bronze Tier Advanced Grade. Monster description: one of the 3 Scarlet Lords of the Blazing Sun Desert. He has many black-tailed fog scorpion subjects under his command. He likes to live under the desert, avoid the blazing sun, and is good at ambushing other creatures. Loots: 40 Green Bronze Tier Mist Cores. Drop rate: 100%. 2 Origin Crystals. Drop rate: 100%. 1 unit to 500 units of Green Bronze Tier Advanced Grade Black-tailed Fog Scorpion Leader's Flesh. Drop rate: 20%. 0.05%. 1 Black Iron Tier Advanced Grade Black-tailed Fog Scorpion Leader's Poison Sac. Drop rate: 5%. 1 Green Bronze Tier Advanced Grade Blood Cleansing Pill. Drop rate: 0.5%. 1 Green Bronze Tier Advanced Grade Skill Book. Deadly State. Drop rate: 0.1%. 20 Gradeless Poison Crossbow. Soldier Class Change Certificate. Drop rate: 0.1%. 10 Green Bronze Tier Advanced Grade Poison Crossbow Soldier Recruitment Book. Drop rate: 0.1%. 1 Green Bronze Tier Advanced Grade Black-tailed Scorpion King Crossbow. Drop rate: 0.01%. 1 Black Iron Tier Advanced Grade Potion Recipe. Blood Cleansing Pill. Drop rate: 0.05%. 8 Black Iron Tier Advanced Grade Lord Talent Crystal Fragments. Drop rate: 0%. Nazario let out an excited cry next to Zhou Zhou. Read the latest stories novelbin.com. Zhou Zhou did not stop at this time. Nazario quickly flew above the black-tailed fog scorpion. Roar! Accompanying the roar was an immature yet incomparably dignified dragon might. The suppression from the top-notch dragon bloodline immediately made the black-tailed fog scorpion leader realize that it could not move in horror. Nazario's red dragon eyes looked at it and suddenly opened his dragon mouth. A faint red light appeared in its mouth. The next second, the scorching magma dragon breath spewed out and directly rushed towards the black-tailed fog scorpion leader. The black-tailed fog scorpion finally broke free from the influence of the dragon might. It crawled into the sand in a panic and disappeared from the ground at an extremely fast speed. Regardless, the magma dragon breath still melted a quarter of its body into magma, causing it to be severely injured. That excited Nazario. It was the first time it had seen a monster that could break free from its dragon might. It was about to give chase when it suddenly froze on the spot. Zhou Zhou narrowed his eyes slightly. In its vision, after the black-tailed fog scorpion leader drilled into the ground, its blood energy disappeared again. It was as if it had disappeared into thin air. It seems to be able to hide its blood energy and even other information that can expose its location, Zhou Zhou speculated. At the same time, Nazario landed on the ground as well. It looked at the ground under its feet and observed for a moment, but it could not find any traces of the other party. However, its powerful perception could sense that the other party was still nearby. Zhou Zhou and Nazario shared telepathy, so he knew this information as well. He thought for a moment. He got the 3 sand cavalrymen to protect him. Then, he walked into the battlefield and used mental manipulation to control the 2 elite black-tailed fog scorpions. Then, he controlled them to dive underground to find their previous boss. Zhou Zhou closed his eyes, switching his perspective to the 2 black-tailed fog scorpions. A moment later, from the perspective of the 2 black-tailed fog scorpions, a huge black-tailed fog scorpion leader was lurking in the sand. A quarter of its body had already disappeared. Its remaining body was hidden in the sand and did not move. Its entire body's smell and vital signs were completely in a dead state. It also saw the 2 black-tailed fog scorpions. After a glance, it quietly sent a message. Shh. The 2 black-tailed fog scorpions looked at each other and quietly came under it. They aimed at it and used their stingers ruthlessly. Ready. Aim. Sting. Nazario was still searching the ground for the location of the black-tailed fog scorpion leader. After it found it, it planned to use the magma dragon breath to spit out a hole in the ground and melt it in the sand. Its master had high hopes. It could not disappoint him. Boom. The black-tailed fog scorpion, which only had 3/4 of its body left, suddenly jumped out of the ground. It jumped more than 10 meters high and let out a piercing scream. Nazario opened its mouth and spat out another magma dragon breath in surprise. The black body burned in scarlet hot dragon breath. Not far away, a kill notification appeared in front of Zhou Zhou. Your pet lava dragon, Nazario, has killed the black-tailed fog scorpion leader, Scarlet Lord, Black Spike. Promotion energy plus 80. Loot had condensed. The territory of the Scarlet Lord has become ownerless. You can plunder or occupy it. The shocking effect of the Lord Talent Crystal Fragment. Zhou Zhou's heart skipped a beat when he saw the black-tailed fog scorpion leader submerged in Nazario's lava dragon breath. He quickly stopped Nazario so that the corpse did not burn away. Nazario understood immediately and stopped releasing its dragon breath. Rumble. The corpse of the black-tailed fog scorpion leader, which had already been roasted to a black-red color, fell heavily onto the desert, causing the ground to tremble slightly. Nazario looked at it for a moment, then lost interest. It turned around and flew away to help the soldiers deal with the other black-tailed fog scorpion. Find up Ted Ovels on n/v/elband co/m. Zhou Zhou heaved a sigh of relief. Fortunately, the corpse was not done burning. Otherwise, the loot inside would also be burned away. He did not immediately go over to retrieve the loot. Instead, he continued to stand where he was, waiting for the war to end. With Nazario's help, the remaining 100 or so black-tailed fog scorpions were all wiped out in less than 15 minutes. The battlefield was silent for a while before the soldiers ruptured into a cheer. Zhou Zhou and Zhang Qianjing walked into the soldiers to heal the poisoned and injured soldiers. After the situation of these soldiers stabilized, Zhou Zhou came to the charred corpse of the black-tailed fog scorpion leader. The fragrance of meat tickled his appetite. "This will be my dinner." He placed his hand on its corpse after confirming that it was not of unbearable temperature. A golden notification appeared. "Do you want to retrieve the loot?" "Yes." The next second, a text notification appeared. "Lord Talent Hint. You have obtained 40 mist cores, green bronze tier, 500 units of black-tailed fog scorpion flesh, green bronze tier advanced grade, 1 unit of black-tailed fog scorpion leader's poison sac, green bronze tier advanced grade, 1 bottle of blood cleansing pills, green bronze tier advanced grade, 1 skill book, deadly state, black iron tier advanced grade, 20 poison crossbowman class change certificates, gradeless, 10 poison crossbowman recruitment books, green bronze tier, advanced grade, 1 black scorpion king crossbow, black iron tier advanced grade, 1 potion formula, blood cleansing pills, black iron tier advanced grade, 2 origin crystals, 8 lord talent crystal fragments, black iron tier advanced grade. Whoosh! A huge drop. Envy appeared on some of the faces of the surrounding soldiers, but most of them looked up at Zhou Zhou with even more admiration. Zhou Zhou was already used to such scenes. He began to inspect the loot calmly. There was naturally no need to mention the green bronze tier mist cores, the flesh of the black-tailed fog scorpion leader, the poison sac, and the poison crossbow soldier class change certificates. The effect of the poison crossbow soldier recruitment book was the same as the sword shield soldier recruitment book. They could summon professionals from the gate of summoning. However, these recruitment books would recruit higher-level beginner soldiers, the poison crossbow soldiers. Then, there was the green bronze tier advanced grade skill book, Dead State. Skill name, Dead State. Skill quality, green bronze tier advanced grade. Skill description, conceal your scent, gaze, voice, breathing, mental activity, blood energy fluctuations, energy aura, and other traces that might expose you to the greatest extent. Allow you to enter a dead state and become like a corpse, thereby reducing the possibility of other living beings discovering you. Zhou Zhou raised his eyebrows. No wonder they couldn't find any traces of the other party the moment it entered the desert. They couldn't even see it with their blood eyes. So it was the effect of dead state. Good stuff. Zhou Zhou learned it on the spot. With a 100% drop rate, he was destined to obtain countless treasures and lord talents in the future. The closer he got to the later stages of the overlord competition, the stronger he would become after grasping many treasures and overlord talents. Therefore, this kind of survival skill was what he needed the most. After learning it, he looked at the next loot. The formula for the blood cleansing pill and the medicine bottle containing 20 blood cleansing pills. Potion recipe name, blood cleansing pill. Recipe quality, green bronze tier advanced grade. Recipe effect, you can master the refining method of the blood cleansing pill after using it. The blood cleansing pill can remove most poisons below the white-silver tier. It can also relieve and control some white-silver tier blood-infecting toxins. Recipe material, clear spirit flower, green bronze tier advanced grade, purple leaf grass, green bronze tier intermediate grade, black crow ginseng, green bronze tier intermediate grade, blood clotting grass, black iron tier advanced grade. Formula description, beginner level antidote. It can heal and control most low-level poisons below the white-silver tier. Learning requirement, it can only be learned by physicians, herbalists, pharmacists, alchemists, and other herb-related life professions. This should be an advanced-level antidote, Zhou Zhou thought. He had also read the formula for the black iron tier advanced grade antidote he had obtained from the elite black iron tier advanced grade. The effect was similar to the blood cleansing pill, however, the level of detoxification was different. The black iron tier advanced grade antidote could only cure most black iron tier poison, while this blood cleansing pill could cure most poisons below the white silver tier. No doubt, the blood cleansing pill had a wider healing range, but it was also more expensive to make. He did not think too much about it as he continued to look at the next loot. Equipment name, Black Scorpion Poison Crossbow. Equipment Grade, Green Bronze Tier Advanced Grade. Equipment Effect 1, Power of the King's Crossbow. When shooting the arrow, the Black Scorpion King's Crossbow will give the arrow 5 times the strength, speed, range, penetration, and lethality of the arrow. It will also carry the poison of the black-tailed fog scorpion, which is above Green Bronze Tier Advanced Grade. It can poison ordinary monsters below White Silver Tier to death. Equipment Effect 2, Arrow of Death. When the user shoots a crossbow bolt, the Black Scorpion King crossbow will automatically hide all the user's physical characteristics and shoot a silent arrow, killing the enemy. Introduction: the rare equipment dropped by the black-tailed Miss Scorpion leader, Black Spike. It is a top-grade equipment that Green Bronze Tier crossbow soldiers dream of. Good equipment. Zhou Zhou's eyes lit up. Equipment Effect 1 was equivalent to providing an unlimited number of Black Scorpion poisonous arrows. Moreover, it was a Black Scorpion poisonous arrow with Green Bronze Tier Advanced Grade. Equipment Effect 2 even had a deathly silent skill. The effects of the two equipment were both top grade. I can give this to Bai, Zhou Zhou thought. Even though he liked this equipment very much, he did not need to go out to fight personally as a lord. Also, he was not a crossbow-type soldier. Keeping it would only cause this treasure to be covered in dust. He might as well give it to Bai Yi and let it play a greater role. It would also allow Bai Yi to serve him better. Then, he looked at the origin crystal he had seen for the first time. This was a thumb-sized hexagonal golden crystal that emitted a faint warm heat when held in his hand. Item Name: Origin Crystal. Item Level: Special. Item Effect: one of the necessary resources to upgrade the territory. Only some Scarlet Lords and special fog monsters can drop it. Item Description: a rare and indispensable promotion resource for a lord. Do we actually need this to upgrade our territory? Zhou Zhou was a little surprised. He valued this resource even more. He solemnly put it into his spatial ring and looked at the last loot. They were 8 cube-shaped crystals that emitted a black iron glow. Treasure Name: Lord Talent Crystal Fragment. Grade: Black Iron Tier. Treasure Ability 1. Gather 10 Black Iron Tier Lord Talent Crystal Fragments and fuse them into a complete Black Iron Tier Lord Talent Origin Divine Crystal. It can awaken an unknown Black Iron Tier Lord Talent. Treasure Ability 2. Gather 10 Black Iron Level Lord Talent Origin Divine Crystals and fuse them into a Green Bronze Tier Lord Talent Origin Divine Crystal. It can allow a lord with a Black Iron Level Lord Talent to upgrade his Lord Talent to a Green Bronze Tier Lord Talent. The subsequent fusion effects and so on. Introduction: the treasure that lords dream of. Zhou Zhou's eyes widened. Organizing the harvest. Thousands of soldier professionals. Zhou Zhou was completely stunned. Not only does this Lord Talent Crystal Fragment awaken the Lord Talent, it could also upgrade the Lord Talent. Zhou Zhou had another bold idea. If he obtained 1 billion Black Iron Tier Lord Talent Crystal Fragments, wouldn't he be able to fuse a mythical Lord Talent Origin Divine Crystal directly? If he used it again, wouldn't his legendary Tier Lord Talent evolve into a mythical Tier Lord Talent? Wait. No! If I had the mythical Lord Talent Origin Divine Crystal, why would I level up the 100% drop rate? Wouldn't it be better to directly awaken a brand new mythical Tier Lord Talent? Zhou Zhou suddenly realized the error of his ways and started fantasizing before coming back to his senses. He looked at the 8 Black Iron Tier Lord Talent Crystal Fragments in his hand and sighed. 1 billion of them. So far away. He might not even be able to afford it even after the Battle of the Overlords. It was better not to think so far ahead. There are billions of cerulean planet lords, and many of them haven't awakened their lord talents. Could it be because they didn't form a complete lord talent crystal in their bodies? Zhou Zhou suddenly thought of this problem. The more he thought about it, the more likely it seemed. He then called 5 sword shield soldiers and walked into the lord's wooden house. He checked it and found that there was nothing good to take away with them. He then turned his attention to the Territory Stone Tablet and realized that it was a Black Iron Tier Advanced Grade Territory Stone Tablet. Smash it, Zhou Zhou ordered. The 5-sword shield soldiers went forward to swing their swords. They took half an hour to break the stone tablet with an endurance of 10,000 points, revealing the territory token inside. Zhou Zhou stepped forward and placed his hand on the territory token. Receive the territory order. Yes, Zhou Zhou said. The Black Iron Tier Advanced Grade Territory token immediately fell into his hands the next second. Zhou Zhou looked at the territory token with a smile on his face. He had 2 territory tokens in his possession. He just had to obtain another piece and his territory could be upgraded again. We've to continue fighting, Zhou Zhou thought. My lord, I have something to report. At this moment, Bai Yi's voice came from outside. Come in, he said casually. Bai Yi walked in. I've something to report, my lord. The soldiers couldn't even find a unit of basic resources after searching for so long. It's like there are no resources here. Her expression was a little ugly. Zhou Zhou was stunned. Surely not? It was the territory of a green bronze tier advanced grade Scarlet Lord after all. It should have developed for a period of time since it could upgrade its territory to Black Iron tier advanced grade. How could it not have any basic resources? Did you search the underground? Zhou Zhou suddenly said. Bai Yi immediately reacted and joy appeared on her face. That's right. There is indeed a high chance that they will place their development resources under the desert with their habits. I am a fool. I'll send people to search for them again right away. We'll definitely find all the loot here even if we have to dig 3 feet into the ground. There's no need to go through so much trouble. Catch a black-tailed fog scorpion alive and let me question it. Zhou Zhou possessed the racial skill, mental perception, where he could vaguely sense the thoughts of living creatures. It would be all too easy to get information from the enemy when coupled with the mental manipulation skill. Roger. Bai Yi left and a moment later, an elite black-tailed fog scorpion with its legs and tail severed was sent over. After Zhou Zhou used mental manipulation and mental perception on it, he found where the territory's treasure trove was. Bai Yi immediately led soldiers who knew the sand stealth technique to the location and successfully retrieved all the loot from underground. They obtained 2,000 units of wood, 1,500 units of stone, 800 units of fine sand, 500 units of metal, 156 black iron tier mist cores, and 25 green bronze tier mist cores in total. Check out LTSDVL on NOVL/bind, CM. They even found a green bronze tier intermediate grade medical hull blueprint, even though it was of little use to Zhou Zhou. With Zhao Chengshou, a white platinum tier intermediate grade architect, around, he no longer cared about ordinary blueprints below white platinum tier intermediate grade. However, he could give this blueprint to Qian Du as a reward when he was promoted to a green bronze tier intermediate grade architect. Zhou Zhou felt that there was nothing to occupy here. He placed all the loot on the small wooden cart and left with the soldiers and convoy as usual. 2 hours later, in the Lord's wooden house, Zhou Zhou was sorting out the gains and losses of this battle. They had killed a total of 465 black-tailed fog scorpions in this battle. Among them was a green bronze tier advanced grade black-tailed fog scorpion leader, Scarlet Lord, 2 elite green bronze tier intermediate grade black-tailed fog scorpions, 5 elite green bronze tier elementary grade black-tailed fog scorpions, 29 elite black iron tier advanced grade black-tailed fog scorpion, 118 black iron tier intermediate grade black-tailed fog scorpions, and 310 black iron tier elementary grade black-tailed fog scorpions. On Zhou Zhou's side, it was a miracle that only 3 soldiers died in battle. 12 were seriously injured and 56 were slightly injured. Their battle damage ratio was terrifyingly high. It was because of 4 key reasons. First, they had more troops on their side, double the number of black-tailed fog scorpions. Second, the success rate of the black-tailed fog scorpion sneak attacks were greatly reduced because of the blood eye. Third, Zhou Zhou and Zhang Qianjing were constantly healing and neutralizing poisons on the battlefield, reducing the casualties. Last but not least, Nazario had eliminated the black-tailed fog lizard leader and its green bronze tier black-tailed fog scorpions with higher combat power. Zhou Zhou had also obtained a large number of rewards from this battle that surprised him. This included 83 green bronze tier mist cores, 1,324 black iron tier mist cores, 13,820 units of flesh, black iron tier elementary, intermediate and advanced grade, 150 units of green bronze tier elementary grade, 100 units of green bronze tier intermediate grade, 500 units of green bronze tier advanced grade, 465 portions of the black-tailed fog scorpion's poison sac, black iron tier and green bronze tier, 389 bottles of antidotes, black iron tier elementary, intermediate and advanced grade, 8 bottles of blood cleansing pills, green bronze tier elementary, intermediate and advanced grade, 540 poison crossbowman class change certificates, 175 poison crossbowman recruitment books, 29 black iron tier advanced grade black scorpion crossbows, 5 black iron tier elementary grade black scorpion crossbows, 2 black iron tier intermediate grade black scorpion crossbows, and 7 sets of blood cleansing pill potion formulas, 5 sets of green bronze tier elementary grade, and 2 sets of green bronze tier intermediate grade. Zhou Zhou stored all the loot into the Emperor of Sand's spatial ring. Then, he walked out of the Lord's wooden house and came to the Gate of Summoning, once again throwing all 175 poison crossbow soldier recruitment books in. The next second, poisonous crossbowmen filed out of the Gate of Summoning one after the other. After bowing respectfully to Zhou Zhou, they lined up behind him until no one else emerged from the gate. A total of 175 poisonous crossbowmen appeared. The number of soldiers under my command has officially broken through to 1,000. 1,041, to be precise. A smile appeared on Zhou Zhou's face. Purchasing materials. Linger's opportunity. Zhou Zhou was very satisfied with the gains from this expedition against the Scarlet Lord. The fragment of the Lord's talent crystal did not disappoint him even though he did not obtain a new Lord talent. Zhou Zhou opened the marketplace and frowned slightly. More lords are selling black iron tier elementary grade meat. Its price has begun to decline. More lords would be able to be self-sufficient and can even sell excess meat in the marketplace as time goes by. Zhou Zhou muttered to himself as he began to set up a new deal. The content of this deal was different from before. This time, he would release a total of 30,000 units of flesh, 15,000 units of black iron tier elementary grade desert fog lizard meat, 5,000 units of black iron tier elementary grade black-tailed fog scorpion meat, and 10,000 units of black iron tier intermediate grade desert fog lizard. At this stage, there were still very few lords who sold black iron tier intermediate grade meat, and not a single lord was selling meat from black iron tier advanced grade monsters. The higher the level of the meat, the more promotion energy they contained after all. Which lord would be willing to sell the meat of rare high-level monsters to others unless he had excess, which could not be preserved for a long time? Most did not even have enough for themselves. The reason why Zhou Zhou did this was because the ingredients he wanted this time were ingredients to make the antidote and the blood cleansing pill that he had just obtained today. These two potions were both high-level potions. The medicinal herbs needed to make them were mostly black iron tier advanced grade or even green bronze tier medicinal herbs. That was why Zhou Zhou took out higher level meat to trade. Soon, the deal he announced attracted the attention of countless lords again. As the number of views increased rapidly, his deal once again topped the list of deals viewed. The other lords on the World Channel were also having a heated discussion. Oh my god, 30,000 units of monster meat. Did Big Boss Blazing Sun destroy another monster kingdom? 10,000 units of black iron tier intermediate grade monster meat. Good lord, Big Boss Blazing Sun shocks me every time he attacks. The Great Desert Fog Lizard has made an indelible contribution to the development of the Big Boss Blazing Sun. Desert Fog Lizard, thank you. Because of you, the 4 seasons have been warmed. Am I the only one who noticed that there's an extra type of meat called the black-tailed fog scorpion this time? Desert Fog Lizard, Welcome, new members, to the development of Big Boss Blazing Sun. The price of this meat is too expensive. The other lords have already lowered their prices, so how can he still maintain such high prices? Everyone, stand up and boycott this profiteer. Don't buy from him. That's right. We can't let the profiteers be so arrogant. Profiteer? Zhou Zhou could not be bothered with such comments. Meat was still in short supply in the market, even though there were more lords selling them now. It was far from reaching an equilibrium between supply and demand. If these people did not buy his high-priced flesh, other lords would. He did not have to worry about not being able to sell them. He could actually also use the Sword Shield Soldier class change certificate to buy these materials, but he was unwilling to do so. What if he were to have a large population one day? When the time comes, these Sword Shield Soldier class change certificates could be quickly converted into real military strength. Suddenly, he saw some different news on the World Channel. 2 or 3 lords were discussing the Dragon Lady. This morning, the Dragon Lady had used the World Channel's live broadcast function to broadcast the entire process of her taking down a foreign race lord's territory. It had broadened the horizons of all the lords. It made her even more famous. At the same time, it also alerted all the lords. The novice lord protective barrier is not invincible. No matter how strong the novice lord protective barrier was, if a lord were to court death, it would not be able to protect him. Zhou Zhou was a little surprised by the Dragon Lady's situation, but that was all. He had already conquered 3 territories. The Dragon Lady's conquest was not too shabby, but her epic-tier lord talent was indeed worthy of his attention. Explore new levels on nvelby.com. At the same time, hundreds of millions of kilometers away, in the spiritual medicine city, Linger, who was in the Divine Herb Garden, was dumbfounded when she saw the new deal initiated by the Lord of the Blazing Sun. She bought some medicinal ingredients to create the Blood Eye yesterday. She wanted to be able to provide her big brother Blazing Sun with an endless supply of medicinal ingredients to create the Blood Eye from now on. A day had barely passed and Big Brother Blazing Sun needed new medicinal ingredients. Linger suddenly smiled. Looks like Big Brother Blazing Sun has become stronger again. She immediately opened the marketplace and bought some medicinal herbs to make antidotes and blood-cleansing pills. As long as she had the seeds and the ability of her Divine Herb Garden, having a steady stream of mature medicinal herbs every day was not a dream. She wanted to be Big Brother Blazing Sun's only supplier of medicinal herbs. Not to monopolize him, for she did not know anything about monopolies. She just wanted to be closer to this Big Brother who was willing to chat with her. She opened the Lord of the Blazing Sun's chat and sent a message to him nervously. Spiritual Medicine Lord, is Big Brother Blazing Sun here? The reply came after a short while. Lord of the Blazing Sun, yes, the herbs are ripe again. Spirit Medicine Lord, yep. This time, Linger prepared 1,000 sets of medicinal ingredients for Big Brother Blazing Sun's life potions, 300 sets of medicinal ingredients for the energy potion, and 300 sets of medicinal ingredients for the Blood Eye potion. Lord of the Blazing Sun, I want them all. Let's discuss the price. Spiritual Medicine Lord, is 10 sets of potion for 1 Sword Shield Soldier class change certificate all right? Lord of the Blazing Sun. Yes! It was more than all right. This pricing was no different from the price of cabbage. Zhou Zhou did not want to take advantage of the child, but when he thought about the ridiculously effective Divine Herb Garden, he suddenly felt that he could accept such a price. Nonetheless, he secretly decided that he would help Linger to the best of his ability in the future. He suddenly thought of something and immediately typed, Lord of the Blazing Sun, all the people in your territory have changed their professions to sword shield soldiers, right? Spiritual Medicine Lord, yes. My subjects dare to go out and explore during the day now. They even dare to fight the monsters head-on. Thank you, Big Brother. Lord of the Blazing Sun, in that case, you won't be able to use the Sword Shield Soldier class change certificate even if I give you more, right? Why don't I trade something else with you? Zhou Zhou definitely could not be bothered to say these words if it was someone else. Who cares if you can use it or not? However, Zhou Zhou asked out of concern since Linger was willing to trade herbs with him at such a good price. He was willing to respond to Linger's kindness with his own kindness. However, the spiritual medicine lord's next words stunned Zhou Zhou. Spiritual medicine lord, it's all right. There's an indigenous force called Green Valley City near my territory. Refugees have been coming to my place every day for the past 2 days. 8 people came yesterday, and another 14 people came today. They're all willing to become Linger subjects. Spiritual medicine lord, there should be more refugees coming tomorrow, so Big Brother Blazing Sun doesn't have to worry that Linger won't be able to use them. Zhou Zhou was confused on the other side of the chat. How could this be? He was short of non-military professionals. Zhao Changshou even needed to build houses himself. She had people going to her for free? Zhou Zhou completed the transaction with Linger with mixed feelings. He had obtained 1,600 portions of medicinal herbs that Linger had specially cultivated for him. On the other hand, Linger obtained 160 sword shield soldier class change certificates. Zhou Zhou was about to ask for the details when Baiyi's voice came from outside. I've something to report, my lord. There's a gnome outside. He said that he heard of my lord's reputation and yearned to become your subject. He specially came from afar to join the Blazing Sun City. He doesn't seem simple. My lord, do you want to take a look? It sounded familiar to Zhou Zhou for some reason. Then it clicked. This was a talent attracted by the reputation rating. He immediately walked out of the Lord's wooden house. Talent with extraordinary potential. You call this a repair? Zhou Zhou found the gnome which looked similar to Ashburn with a white robe. That gnome was studying Zhou Zhou and the territory behind him curiously. Greetings, my lord. The gnome retracted his gaze and said respectfully. His voice was tender, revealing that he was a young gnome. Hi, I heard that you want to join my territory? Zhou Zhou asked curiously. Yes, I've just finished my apprenticeship. I originally wanted to stay in the Aurora Kingdom and appreciate the local customs around me while looking for a lord worthy for me to submit to. I heard that you conquered a foreign lord territory and a Scarlet Lord's territory in just 3 days upon arriving in the High Continent. In the eyes of many living beings, including myself and my teacher, this is extremely unbelievable, but it's precisely because of this that my lord's strength and potential shines. That's why I came to see my lord. If possible, I want to submit myself to my lord. I wonder if my lord is willing to accept a newly minted blacksmith like me. Carter Jim asked expectantly. A line of text appeared. Carter Jim requests to join your territory and become your subject. Do you agree? Blacksmith? Zhou Zhou was stunned but delighted. Coincidentally, the soldiers had been fighting nonstop recently, and many of their armor and weapons were damaged. They could only continue using the damaged armor and weapons because there were no blacksmiths. That solved everything. The damaged weapons and armor could be repaired with this new gnome blacksmith. Welcome to Blazing Sun City. Zhou Zhou agreed readily. After calming down, he looked at the other party's delicate figure and suddenly hesitated. This size. No matter how he looked at him, he did not seem to be the size of a blacksmith. He looked at the other party, and his message appeared in his eyes. Subject, Carter Kim. Territory, Blazing Sun City. Life profession, blacksmith. Professional class, yellow gold tier advanced grade. Ability overview, a genius in the path of blacksmithing, the last disciple of the master military craftsman, Gibbon Vela. His body contains the bloodline of the mountain giant. Under his gentle and shy appearance, there is a burning heart that swings a sledgehammer. Skills, mountain giant bloodline. Talent, earth elemental affinity. Extraordinary tier Gilburn forging technique 36 forms. Incomplete mastery. Yellow gold tier advanced grade equipment repair skill. Yellow gold tier advanced grade equipment carving skill. Yellow gold tier advanced grade equipment military aesthetic theory. Pure iron forging skill. Steel forging skill. Equipment manufacturing. Archer equipment. Yellow gold tier advanced grade. Equipment manufacturing. Crossbowman equipment. Yellow gold tier advanced grade. Equipment manufacturing. Cavalry equipment. Yellow gold tier advanced grade. equipment manufacturing, sword shield soldier equipment, yellow gold tier advanced grade, equipment manufacturing, spearman equipment, yellow gold tier advanced grade, equipment manufacturing, Putio soldier equipment, yellow gold tier advanced grade, equipment manufacturing, firearm soldier equipment, yellow gold tier advanced grade. Loyalty, 88. Potential, extraordinary tier intermediate grade. Zhou Zhou was pleasantly surprised. He did not expect this young gnome's potential to be extraordinary tier intermediate grade, even though he was currently inferior to Elder Zhou. This was a future extraordinary tier blacksmith. Moreover, Zhou Zhou was very satisfied with the other party's skills. They were all forging skills related to military equipment. To any lord, a blacksmith with so many standard equipment forging skills was undoubtedly the most practical. Moreover, the other party had his own talent and bloodline. As expected of a talent attracted by reputation rating. My lord, do we have a blacksmith shop in our territory? Carter Kim asked curiously. Not at the moment, but you can have it tomorrow if you want one. Zhou Zhou smiled. He then called over a soldier and asked him to bring Zhao Chengshou and Elder Zhao over. Zhao Chengshou came over in no time. My lord, you were looking for me? He asked. Zhou Zhou was about to speak when a surprised voice sounded from the other side. Teacher Zhao, you're here too? Carter Kim looked at Zhao Chengshou in surprise. Zhou Zhou was stunned. Zhao Chengshou's gaze also fell on him. Then, he said in surprise, Little Carter? Shouldn't you be at Master Gibbon's place? Why are you here? I've finished my apprenticeship, Carter Jin said shyly. Not bad. You didn't let your teacher down to be able to graduate at such a young age. Oh yes. How's your teacher doing? Zhao Chengshou clicked his tongue in wonder. Teacher has been in good health recently. Just that she talks about you all day long. Carter Jin said politely. I'll visit her when I'm free. Zhao Chengshou smiled. So you know each other? Zhou Zhou said in surprise. This little guy's teacher and I are good friends in the Aurora Kingdom. I designed her residence myself. We became even closer after we retired because we see each other a lot. So I got to know her precious disciple. Zhao Chengshou smiled. Zhou Zhou nodded and then became thoughtful. It seemed that the Aurora Kingdom was very close to his territory. Otherwise, it wouldn't be so coincidental that both of the legendary tier talents came from the Aurora Kingdom. Elder Zhao, Carter has already become a subject of Blazing Sun City. I asked you to come over this time because I want you to help him build a yellow gold tier advanced grade blacksmith shop, Zhou Zhou said. Does my lord have yellow gold tier mist cores? Zhao Chengshou was stunned. No, why? Zhou Zhou replied. Building a yellow gold tier advanced grade blacksmith shop requires 100 yellow gold tier advanced grade mist cores. Zhou Zhou. I think the black iron tier advanced grade blacksmith shop is good enough for now. Zhao Chengshou and Carter immediately agreed. The awkward atmosphere quickly disappeared amidst laughter. My lord, this female general's armor seems to be damaged. Would you allow me to repair it? Carter looked at Bai Yi's armor and said to Zhou Zhou. It was more than just being damaged. Bai Yi was still wearing the black iron tier elementary grade poison crossbowman armor that came with her class change, which was completely incompatible with her current strength. Go and change it out. Zhou Zhou nodded. Bai Yi thanked him and went back to change her clothes. When she returned, she had her standard armor folded in her hands as she was wearing her own casual clothes. Carter Jim took out a simple forging platform from his spatial ring and placed it on the ground. Then, he lit it up. Then, the other party picked up the hammer that was 3 times his height. The size of the hammer did not match his height at all. Zhou Zhou was afraid that he would not be able to handle it. Lord, please be mentally prepared. At this moment, Zhao Chengshou leaned over and whispered. Zhou Zhou did not know what he meant until he saw Carter Jim in action. Carter Jim took a deep breath. Gwar. A tangible white circular airflow spread out from under his feet, accompanied by a suppressed growl. The ground shook slightly. Gravels trembled and floated from the ground. Follow the latest novels n/felbin.com. Carter Jim's body began to grow at a visible speed under Zhou Zhou and Baiyi's dumbfounded gazes. Soon, his entire body had become 5 to 6 meters tall with his muscles bulging. The white robe he was wearing earlier now looked like a scarf wrapped around his neck. The hammer that was nearly 2 meters long looked like a wooden stick in his hand. Zhou Zhou and Baiyi's expressions froze for a few seconds. Carter Jim began to forge. The loud sound of hammers being swung echoed throughout the entire territory, and almost everyone looked over. Even Ashburn, who was always in the gnome alchemy workshop, came out to watch the giant forge armor. During the forging process, he would occasionally throw a few ores into the armor. "It's done. The time is tight, so I only repaired the original armor, which is why I couldn't maximize the effect of the equipment. I hope you don't mind." Carter was embarrassed as he handed the armor to Baiyi. "Thank you so much for fixing it." Baiyi took it and thanked him. Zhou Zhou also looked at it. Equipment name: Poison Crossbow Soldier Standard Armor, Strengthened. Equipment grade: Green Bronze Tier Advanced Grade. Equipment effect: Standard armor of the Poison Crossbow Soldiers. It can withstand 30% of the impact from the outside world and effectively prevent sharp weapons from attacking. After being repaired and upgraded by a blacksmith, it can slightly resist white-silver tier elementary grade damage from the outside world. Introduction: The standard armor of the Poison Crossbowman. It was reforged by an outstanding blacksmith and its defense was strengthened. Zhou Zhou and Baiyi's mouths fell agape. Then, they looked at the shy Carter Jim. Good God! It was directly upgraded from a black iron tier elementary grade equipment to green bronze tier advanced grade equipment. You call this a repair? 50 Mechanostriders. The second monster ranch. Your blacksmithing skills are indeed great. You'll probably catch up with your teacher in a few years. Zhao Changshu stroked his beard and smiled. It's just a basic operation. I'm still far from my teacher. Carter Jim reverted to his gnome form and said shyly. This time, Zhao Changshu did not say anything. Gibbon Vela was an extraordinary tier advanced grade master blacksmith. He was indeed far inferior comparatively. At this moment, Zhou Zhou also came back to his senses. He looked at Carter Jim with shining eyes as if he was looking at a treasure. In the future, you will be in charge of upgrading and repairing the equipment in our territory. Our soldiers are all wearing the most basic black iron tier elementary grade equipment. Many people's standard equipment can no longer match their strength. I need people like you to help them. Zhou Zhou patted Carter Jim's shoulder, looking like he had entrusted him with an important task. I will do my best, Carter Jim said seriously. He was akin to a young man who had mastered the skills of a military craftsman. Even though he was shy, he yearned to follow a virtuous leader and create a great career. This was also one of the reasons why he came here to train himself. How many sets of standard equipment can you upgrade in a day? You don't have to upgrade them too much, perhaps to green bronze tier elementary grade at best. Zhou Zhou asked. If it doesn't exceed the green bronze tier elementary grade, then it's very simple. I can upgrade about 50 sets a day, Carter Jim said. Zhou Zhou clicked his tongue. Upgrading 50 sets a day. This efficiency was ridiculous. However, Zhou Zhou could somewhat understand given his mountain giant transformation just now. Zhou Zhou asked for the list of ores and materials needed to upgrade the equipment. According to Carter Jim, there were only 2 materials required: pure iron and fine steel. Forging low-level standard equipment mainly depends on the forger's skills and repeated tempering. There's no need for too complicated ores, Carter Jim said shyly, noticing Zhou Zhou's doubtful expression. Zhou Zhou nodded. He immediately opened the marketplace and used 10,000 units of black iron tier elementary grade desert fog lizard meat to buy these 2 types of ore materials. The price he set was 5 units of pure iron or 10 units of steel for every unit of black iron tier elementary grade desert fog lizard meat. This price was still very high. However, there were too many cerulean planet lords, so he did not have to worry about not being able to obtain the materials. At this moment, he noticed Ashburn wearing a doubtful expression on his face. Zhou Zhou asked Zhao Chengshou to arrange a place for Carter Jim to stay before he went to Ashburn's side. "What are you looking at?" Zhou Zhou asked Ashburn while patting his shoulder. "My lord, is he a gnome too?" Ashburn looked at Carter Jim in the distance and couldn't help but ask. "He's a gnome with the blood of a mountain giant," Zhou Zhou answered. "A gnome that actually has the bloodline of a mountain giant. I've learned something new." Ashburn sighed, feeling much better. Zhou Zhou was also very emotional. What was Carter Jim's mountain giant parent thinking? "Lucky that I ran into you. Can you use this?" Zhou Zhou handed the formulas for the antidote and blood cleansing pill to Ashburn. Ashburn was already used to seeing new formulas, so he wasn't surprised. He looked at it twice before he quickly shook his head. "My apologies, my lord. I'm an alchemist. Making some alchemy potions is my limit. This is a potion formula specially prepared for orthodox pharmacists. I can't learn it." Zhou Zhou was stunned. Ashburn was dead loyal to him, so there was no way he would lie to him. He must really be unable to learn it then. Zhou Zhou could only put them away, even though he did not feel that it was a pity. He could totally build a second monster ranch to nurture the black-tailed fog scorpion now that he had origin crystals. He could completely obtain antidotes and blood-cleansing pills through the monster ranch since Ashburn didn't know anything about them. Not only was this method simpler, there was also no need to buy the corresponding medicinal herbs from the marketplace. "My lord, I just made 50 mechanostriders. Would you like to take a look?" Ashburn asked. "Let's go," Zhou Zhou immediately said. Mechanostriders were a very important part of his development plan. They arrived at the alchemy warehouse that housed a total of 50 neatly arranged mechanostriders, making this place look like an armory. "Well done." Zhou Zhou could not help but praise Ashburn. "It's my duty to serve the Lord," Ashburn said elegantly. Zhou Zhou smiled and nodded. Then, he asked Bai Yi to call someone over to bring the 50 mechanostriders out. He ordered for 10 of the mechanostriders to be used specifically for the transportation of loot. The remaining 40 of them were given to the scout team and were in charge of exploring the surrounding environment of the territory. Bai Yi was already prepared for this. She immediately found 40 smart soldiers to join the scout team and got them familiarized with the mechanostrider. More than an hour later, all the soldiers had mastered the operation of the mechanostriders. Zhou Zhou got them to head out of the territory under Bai Yi's lead to explore the environment outside the territory. Wu Tu, the cartographer recruited this morning, was among them. "My lord, I will definitely become the vice captain," Wu Tu shouted at Zhou Zhou in the distance before they left. Zhou Zhou smiled and nodded before looking for Zhang Tseng again. At this moment, Zhou Zhou's first subject and also the first sword shield soldier in the territory was already at the green bronze tier elementary grade. Zhou Zhou asked him to leave 100 soldiers behind and lead the remaining 890 soldiers in clearing the remaining fog monsters outside the territory. Zhang Tseng accepted the order and left. Half an hour later, in the Lord's wooden house, Zhou Zhou, who was diving in the World Channel, suddenly realized that the 2 deals he had set up were completed. He had obtained a total of 60,000 units of stone, 50,000 units of wood, 110,000 units of fine sand, and 80,000 units of metal. 600 mechanostrider crafting materials, 2,000 life potion crafting materials, 800 energy potion crafting materials, 600 golden corpse water crafting materials, 1,200 blood eye crafting materials, 36,000 units of pure iron and 28,000 units of steel, 500 sets of antidotes, 250 sets of blood cleansing pills. Other than that, he also bought some random materials. He could trade all 40,000 units of meat, leaving him with a little less than 20,000 units. Zhou Zhou looked at the materials he had bought, feeling a little emotional. New N0vel chapters are published on N0v/E/LBIN/co/M. This was the disadvantage of desert territory. He had to buy raw materials if he wanted to make something. He could be completely self-sufficient if he was in a territory rich in resources. However, he did not blame anyone. He was already in a much better position when compared to the lords who could not even solve their survival problems. Zhou Zhou found Zhao Chengsho again before they jointly looked for Mugu together to discuss the construction of the second monster ranch. Zhao Chengsho was pleasantly surprised when he knew that he was going to participate in the construction of a special building. This was left unnoticed by Zhou Zhou as he waved his right hand. 3,000 units of wood, 3,000 units of fine sand, 3,000 units of metal, 3,000 units of stone ingredients, and 1,000 units of black iron mist core appeared out of thin air. Then, he took out an origin crystal and handed it to Mugu. I'll leave the second monster ranch to Elder Zhao and you. The second monster ranch will be used to nurture the black-tailed fog scorpions. I've left you 100 soldiers. Get them to build it for you. Can Monster Ranch be built by tonight with them around? Zhou Zhou asked. No problem. Mugu and Zhao Chengsho exchanged confirmation nods before replying to Zhou Zhou. Its current grade would just be a little higher than Black Iron Tier Advanced grade, even though the Monster Ranch was a special building. They were confident that it would be completed before night fell with enough manpower. Zhou Zhou nodded and left. Time passed quickly. Night gradually fell. The scarlet fog gradually appeared in the air. However, since the surrounding Scarlet Lords had been destroyed, no new monsters were born. Not long after, Zhou Zhou, who was shopping in the Lord's wooden house, suddenly received a report from a soldier. Bai had already brought 50 soldiers back to the territory with information they had obtained about the surrounding environment of the territory. Wutu's map. New monster. In the Lord's wooden house, the living room. My lord, this is a map drawn by Wutu after exploring the Blazing Sun Desert today. It is a complete map of the Blazing Sun Desert area. Bai glanced at Wutu after giving her report. Wutu looked nervous. He walked towards Zhou Zhou and handed him the map with both hands upon hearing Bai's words. Zhou Zhou took it and immediately started studying it. An item notification appeared in front of him. Area map name. Blazing Sun Desert Map. Current exploration rate, 59%. Map quality, Black Iron Tier. Total area, 523 square kilometers. Map introduction. This map depicts the general terrain of the Blazing Sun Desert and the related map information. It includes the area, geographical scale, desert terrain distribution, the range and location of your own territory, the coverage of desert vegetation type resource points, the range and activity of scattered monsters, the range and location of the Scarlet Lord's territory, and the territory and location of the Lord of all races. There's actually an item notification. Is this acknowledged by the Supreme Will? Zhou Zhou looked at the map even more seriously, surprised at this development. It was a 1 meter long by half meter wide yellowish-brown papyrus map, which depicted an irregularly long and narrow desert terrain. It looked remarkably lifelike with very vivid markings in many places. For example, the location of Blazing Sun City was marked with a small sun. There were also the ruins of the Desert Fog Lizard territory and the ruins of the Black-tailed Fog Scorpion territory. The two places that Zhou Zhou had captured had also been marked with this simple image of the Desert Fog Lizard and the image of the Black-tailed Fog Scorpion. In addition, Zhou Zhou also saw a specific scale in the bottom left corner of the map, as well as some marks of desert vegetation, quicksand, and scattered monsters. Other than that, he also saw 2 red highlights. One was a simple human face marked as the territory of an unfamiliar human lord about 30 kilometers northeast of Blazing Sun City. Visit no. v. 3lb/n. cm for new OVL. There was a special label beside it. There were no more than 50 people inside this territory according to a preliminary assessment. The other was the mark of a Scarlet Lord. Its specific label was Region-Level Scarlet Lord, Sandman Lord's territory. It was about 35 kilometers to the east of Blazing Sun City, and according to preliminary assessment, there were about 1,000 sandmen and fog monsters in it. Zhou Zhou looked at the map in surprise. Fear came from the unknown. Originally, he did not know much about the overall environment of the Blazing Sun Desert. Therefore, he subconsciously felt that his surroundings were very dangerous even though he already had thousands of soldiers. That was why he had always gone all out, because he did not want to fail miserably. However, the rich information on this map immediately made Zhou Zhou feel much more at ease. He even entertained the thought of trying to conquer the entire Blazing Sun Desert, since he seemed to be able to take down the remaining two lords' territories after all. This was the importance of information. Without the information on this map, Zhou Zhou might have had the same thoughts without the confidence. Zhou Zhou could not help but look at Wu Tuesday. What a talent! Nice map. I love it, Zhou Zhou said. When Wu Tu heard this, joy immediately appeared on his originally anxious expression. Starting today, you're the vice captain of your scout team. In addition, this mechanostrider belongs to you now, Zhou Zhou continued. Wu Tu was stunned when he heard that. The Lord actually gave him such a huge reward for completing his first mission? He remembered that the only other person in the territory who owned a mechanostrider was Bai Yi, who had followed Zhou Zhou from the beginning. The others only had the right to use it. He had just become the second person after Bai Yi to own one. When Wu Tu thought of this, he could not help but feel a little dazed. No matter how perfectly he completed the task of drawing the map in the army previously, his higher-ups would only pay lip service without promoting him because he was still a child. They were worried about handing over a higher position to him. He had only joined this place for less than a day, but he already obtained what he had always wanted. It was not a higher position, nor was it a mechanostrider. But trust. His lordship was really different. You don't have to be so surprised. I've seen your ability. Since it has reached the standard, I will naturally give you the corresponding reward and position so that you can unleash your ability. However, even though you're the vice captain now, you should listen to others' opinions when you encounter situations. Trust your teammates. They may not be as good at making maps as you are, but there's still a lot you can learn in other areas. Don't disappoint me. Zhou Zhou smiled. Thank you, my lord. Wu Tu will definitely not disappoint my lord. Wu Tu's face flushed red with excitement. Keep working hard and you'll have a chance to be the captain. Now, tell me in detail about these two territories. Zhou Zhou smiled. Wu Tu nodded excitedly. Bai Yi smiled and took a step forward. Yes, my lord. The standard unknown human lord's territory on this map was first discovered by us during our exploration. We encountered a team of 8 human soldiers with 4 sword shield soldiers, 3 spearmen, and 1 bowman. They look similar to us humans. And I don't know if I'm overthinking it, but they were protecting the bowman behind them. I feel that his speech and accent is very similar to the Lord's. Zhou Zhou raised his eyebrows when he heard this. Did they meet another cerulean planet lord? He did not say anything and continued to listen to Bai Yi. Subsequently, I followed them secretly and found their territory. I realized that their territory is also protected by the novice lord's protective barrier. I didn't act rashly. I asked Wu Tu to record the location. After observing for a while, I continued to explore in the distance. That's where we found the territory of this regional lord, the Sandman Lord. He is a white silver tier elementary grade regional scarlet lord, and he has about 1,000 Sandman under his command. He is very powerful, so I didn't approach rashly, but I did kill a lone Sandman nearby and brought its corpse back. The body of the Sandman is at the door now, Bai said. Let's go take a look. Zhou Zhou immediately stood up. Bai Yi and the others naturally had no objections. The 3 of them walked out of the room. Zhou Zhou quickly saw the corpse of the Sandman. Zhou Zhou was stunned at first glance. This was because he realized that this Sandman's corpse was very similar to the sand soldiers he had summoned with the Emperor of Sand's spatial ring. However, they did not have the standard equipment and weapons of the sand soldiers. Monster name, Sandman. Strength level, Black Iron Tier Elementary Grade. Monster description, a monster from the blazing desert, born in the scarlet fog. It was once a subject of the Emperor of the Sand. After the Emperor of the Sand fell, it was converted by the Scarlet Lord to become his subject. Loot, for Black Iron Tier Mist Core, drop rate, 100%. 1 kilogram dark iron sand crystal. Drop rate 10%. 1 black iron tier elementary grade sandification skill book. Drop rate 5%. 1 black iron tier elementary grade sandman summoning skill book. Drop rate 2%. Building materials, sand crystal. Zhou Zhou's arrangement. They were once the subjects of the Sand Emperor? Zhou Zhou looked at the Sandman's corpse in surprise. He looked at the Emperor of Sand's spatial ring on his right hand, thinking that he was really fated with this Emperor of Sand. However, when Zhou Zhou saw the drop rate of the Sandman, he realized something. This kind of monster did not drop the soldier class change certificate nor the soldier recruitment book. I was right. Not all monsters drop military-related items, Zhou Zhou thought. Then, he placed his hand on the corpse. A golden notification appeared. Do you want to retrieve the loot? Yes! Follow the latest novels n/felbin.com. The next second. Lord Talent hint. You have obtained these loot. 4 mist cores. Black iron tier. 1 kilogram of sand crystal. Black iron tier. 1 sandification skill book. Black iron tier mist core. 1 sand summoning skill book. Black iron tier elementary grade. Whoosh. The loot dropped. It was relatively small compared to the desert fog lizard and the black-tailed fog scorpion, but he didn't think too much about it since there were skill books. Zhou Zhou began to check the loots. First was a type of sand crystal that he had never seen before. It was a yellow prismatic crystal the size of a fingernail. It felt cold to the touch. Material name, sand crystal. Material grade, black iron tier. Material effect, iron grade building materials produced in the desert can be added to other building materials, increasing the defense of completed buildings by 50%, earthquake resistance by 50%, and the effect of warm buildings in winter and cool buildings in summer by 1 point. Material description, a special material produced in a desert environment. Incorporating it into building materials will make the building stronger and more stable. It can also stabilize the temperature in the room so that it would not be affected by the temperature change outside. The moment Zhou Zhou saw the material, an idea immediately occurred to him. He had to protect the Sandman, even if it was only because of the sand crystal material with its amazing construction effects. He was even willing to build a monster ranch for the Sandman. He had no choice. The temperature difference between day and night in the desert was huge, more than 20 degrees Celsius. If they wanted to live well in such an environment, sand crystals that could warm the room in winter and cool it in summer were simply too important to them. As for cruelty, he had no such concept. Even though the Sandman's name had the word man in it, they were essentially just desert elemental monsters condensed from the scarlet fog. To put it bluntly, it was just a ball of fog. The name Sandman was simply because it had similar limbs to humans. It was not human at all. Therefore, Zhou Zhou would not feel that he was cruel just because he killed a ball of fog. But I only have 1 origin crystal left. I cannot use it randomly. It might be used to upgrade the territory in the future after all. It would not be too late to build a Sandman's monster ranch when I have more origin crystals, Zhou Zhou thought. He kept the sand crystal and looked at the next item. Skill name, sand form. Skill quality, black iron tier elementary grade. Skill description, sandify a part of the body for 1 second. Immune to black iron tier physical damage. After 1 second, the sandified part of the body will return to its original state. Zhou Zhou nodded after reading it. It could make a part of his body invincible for a second. That sounded like a pretty slick skill. The only pity was that he was immune to black iron tier physical damage for only 1 second. The upper limit was a little low. Nonetheless, it was only a black iron tier elementary grade skill after all. Zhou Zhou could not ask for too much. He learned directly. Then, he looked at the next skill. Skill name, summon Sandman. Skill quality, black iron tier elementary grade. Skill description, summoning type skill. Controls the sand element and condenses a black iron tier elementary grade Sandman that completely obeys your orders and has simple intelligence to fight for you. Zhou Zhou shook his head. It was a pity. The effective Black Iron Tier elementary grade skill was indeed average. This skill could only summon one Sandman. His ring allowed him to summon more advanced sand soldiers. Moreover, as long as he had enough mental strength, he could summon an unlimited number of them. The difference between the two was obvious. However, Zhou Zhou still lapped it up. In any case, there was no harm in having more skills. Moreover, after learning it, this skill would be considered his ability. It could be used without the help of external objects like the ring, so he could use it without worry. He put away the loot and returned to the Lord's wooden house. Zhou Zhou pondered for some time before he looked up at Bai. Tomorrow morning, arrange for 20 members of the scout team to monitor the territory of that unfamiliar human lord. Try to confirm the existence of their lord. If you find anyone coming out of their territory, arrest them immediately and inform me. Yes, my lord, Bai said respectfully. Zhou Zhou looked at Wu Tu again. Tomorrow, I will assign you a green bronze tier elementary grade soldier to guard your scout team. Your mission is to investigate the environment outside the Blazing Sun Desert. It's best if you can make a map. If you discover an area where there are local forces, such as the territory of the Aurora Kingdom, focus on that area immediately. Let's try to investigate the situation there first. Zhou Zhou was still thinking about Linger's lucky situation. If only he could also encounter a local faction and obtain a large number of jobless subjects like Linger, then the Sword Shield Soldier Class Change Certificate and Poison Crossbow Soldier Class Change Certificate that he had been holding on to would come in useful. At that time, his troops would welcome an unprecedented increase. Yes, my lord. Wu Tu agreed excitedly. Bai Yi and Wu Tu left. Zhang Tsang, who had cleared the monsters nearby and returned, also came over to report the results from his team. After half a day, they had killed a total of 132 desert fog lizards and 66 black-tailed fog scorpions. These monsters were all scattered throughout the entire Blazing Sun Desert. They only found so many after searching for more than half a day. Zhou Zhou handed the map that Wu Tu had given him to Zhang Tsang. Make a copy of this map and return it to me. Tomorrow, follow the distribution of the monsters here and find and clean them up. We don't need any other monsters other than our domesticated monsters, Zhou Zhou said. Yes, my lord. Zhang Tsang held the map as if it was a treasure. With this map, they did not need to look for monsters like headless flies. Then, Zhou Zhou followed Zhang Tsang to retrieve the loot. Half an hour later, all the loot had been extracted. Among the 198 monster carcasses, there were 128 Black Iron Tier elementary grade iron, 46 Black Iron Tier intermediate grade, and 24 Black Iron Tier advanced grade corpses. After extracting the loots, he obtained a total of 632 Black Iron Tier mist cores, 6,800 units of flesh, Black Iron Tier elementary, intermediate, and advanced grade, 299 kilograms water bag, 66 portions of black-tailed fog scorpions poison sacs. Black Iron Tier elementary, intermediate, and advanced grade, 66 bottles of antidotes. Black Iron Tier elementary, intermediate, and advanced grade, 113 Sword Shield Soldier Class Change Certificates. 39 Sword Shield Soldier Recruitment Books, 99 Poison Crossbowman Class Change Certificates. 31 Poison Crossbowman Recruitment Books, 6 Black Scorpion Poison Crossbows, 18 Black Iron Tier Advanced Grade, Sand Stealth Books, and 6 Black Iron Tier Advanced Grade, Antidote Formulas. After Zhou Zhou put away the loot, he went to the Gate of Summoning and used the recruitment books he had just obtained to summon 39 Sword Shield soldiers, and 31 Poison Crossbow soldiers. He also asked them to report to Bai. Now, he had 1,108 soldiers under him. At this moment, Zhao Changshu walked over from afar and arrived in front of Zhou Zhou. I've something to report, my lord. The second monster ranch is complete. There was a happy smile on his face. He participated in the construction of this special building and felt that he had benefited greatly. He could vaguely feel that he was going to become a white platinum tier advanced grade architect soon. Let's go take a look, Zhou Zhou immediately said. Zhao Changsho smiled and nodded as the two of them walked towards the new monster ranch.
Thank you for watching Mystic Realms Recap. Please like, share and subscribe. Have a great day.